Good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me, and as a test of that, everybody is on mute, but if you can find your questions panel and just type, yes, I can hear you, we'll know that our audio is working. Perfect. Thank you, Mark, and everyone should also be able to see our screen. Should say testing and training right up in front of you. If you cannot see that, let me know. But we're going to start promptly at 3 o'clock. All right, welcome. As advertised, this webinar is being recorded, and we will send the recording to both people who attended and folks who registered. If by the end there are still not too many people on, we may take folks off mute and do questions and answer verbally, but otherwise feel free to use that questions panel that is should be in your dashboard where some people have already posted to ask any questions throughout. Our goals for today are to do a demonstration of the new system behind the QualityPro exams that help companies that are pursuing or maintaining QualityPro accreditation fulfill that testing and training standard. So as a refresher, as of July of 2018, with the launch of version 5 of QualityPro, the sales and technician testing requirement, that standard, is that all of a company's sales and service staff have taken and passed the QualityPro exam within 6 months of application for the QualityPro program or 6 months of hire date. For companies that have become a part of QualityPro after July last year, this is going to be true of all of your folks. If your company was accredited before July of last year, then this applies to employees hired after December 31st, 2018. So any of your folks this year. Prior to that time, there was reciprocity agreements in place with state licensing programs, and that is no longer the case. So the big change with version 5 in terms of this standard is that moving forward, anyone you hire within the first 6 months of their employment has to pass the QualityPro exam. If an individual comes to you who have already passed the QualityPro exam with another company, you're welcome to email us and look up their records. One of the benefits of the new system that we've got in place is that we can find their record and link them up with your company moving forward. If they took the exam in the old site, we're just going to need to generate that PDF and send it to you and confirm they've passed the exam. But they don't need to retest in the new testing environment. So that's a little bit of background on why we're having this this webinar today. Both the standard and the system behind the standard have changed in the last year, and this testing system has actually been in place for a couple of years, but only as of the last couple of months is it the only option for taking the QualityPro exam. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Griffin Voltman, who is with QualityPro, and if you call needing help, it's either he or I that answers the phone, and more often than not, it's going to be Griffin. So he's going to lead us through the steps it takes to register, set up someone's account, register them for a course, and then have that person access their courses or tests. And then I'm going to close us out with a little bit of administrative level stuff. So if you're a supervisor, what reports are available to you, how to access the certificates of completion of your employees, and those sorts of things. And then we'll have a little bit of time for questions and answers. But again, we're going to be monitoring that questions box. So if questions occur to you as Griffin or I are presenting, feel free to type them in and we will answer them throughout. So with that, turning it over to Griffin.
Hi, everyone. All right, let's just jump right into it. The easiest way to start is to open up a private window or an incognito window, just because our system is really aggressive about remembering passwords. It will try to log you into your account, whether or not that's what you're trying to do. So you want to start at, it's the wrong one, not a promising start. npmatraining.org is going to be sort of your entry point to, why are you? There we go. Okay, so the main features of this page are the two big blue buttons that say Purchase New Content or Access Purchased Content. We're going to start with Purchase New Content and create new account. If you're signing someone else up, you go to New User Sign Up down here at the right, and it should prompt you for their information. We're signing up a brand new QualityPro employee named Miss Jane Doe. We have her set up a very covert email address. This is kind of the important part when you're setting someone up, is making sure that they work for the correct company. If they put their name in incorrectly here, it's not going to connect them to your account, and they won't be able to access the courses that have been unlocked for you specifically. That's the right one, right? Mm-hmm. All right. Making sure. This is an important step of the process.
Try type in training test. Try just training.
And what the important lesson that we're trying to do here is that the drop-down will populate with all possible choices for companies, and that's really what we're trying to show you guys.
Connect yourself with ABC training.
All right.
Or any of those, yep.
And if you see down here at the bottom, it should automatically populate with your company's address. This is the screen where if you're trying to get people to sign up for CEUs, this is where they would put in their license. But since we're not as concerned about that with Jane, we're just going to skip this step. All right, now, vouchers are important if you're setting multiple people up. You can buy a voucher for multiple people to use. I believe there are 3 uses per voucher.
And we're standing next to each other here. You're getting the real live tour. So vouchers only apply if it's a course that costs money. None of the QualityPro exams are going to cost you money, and so you won't need to purchase vouchers for those. But if you're having, for example, folks go through the NPMA new hire training and you want to purchase 5 of those, you would add those, and you can designate how many uses you're purchasing, and it'll email you a code. You send that code to folks, and that's how they pay. So this applies, and you'll only see vouchers available for things that cost money in the NPMA system. Today's tour, we're not going to demo one of those because the QualityPro courses in the U.S. aren't going to cost you money. So go back one. If you're only registering folks for QualityPro exams, you're always going to do that Select Courses button. If you had a code, that's where it would go in that top field there. And when the person clicked Applied Voucher, the course you had purchased for them would populate into their shopping cart.
All right, so we are setting her up for QualityPro and GreenPro today. You can find all of these under QualityPro accreditation and certification. The regular QualityPro is QualityPro US or QualityPro Canada for sales and service employees. believe we're putting her in Green Pro as well. You're going to come up here to your shopping cart, and you're going to see that there's $0, but it's still going to ask you to continue through the purchasing process. All right, and here is your invoice. This is your proof that you've actually signed her up for the courses, but in order to take them, she has to go back to npmatraining.org. And pretty much once you've created the account for them and assigned courses, they do not need to click Purchase New Content, Create New Account. They will only ever be interacting with Access Purchase Content. And since it's, like I said, very aggressive about remembering your password, it should take them straight to their course page. And you can see here she's set up with the QualityPro and Green Pro exams that we just added for her. All you have to do from here is go to Course Content, and it will prompt you through the remainder of the process. And by this point, you're already taking the course. The hard part is over.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic.
And that's my contribution for today. Here's Allie back.
So Griffin took us through the simple steps of setting someone up. I'm now going to, I'm sure, complicate things by talking about all the different options you have in this process. So just to finish this tour for Jane, we're now logged in as Jane. We created an account for her. We registered for her course. She's now in the process of taking the QualityPro exam. And then we'll just demo how this is going to work for her. All of the courses have a study guide now built in, so you don't need to be sure to email your employees the study guide and all these. They're going to have the opportunity to download it and study it, and then they can come back later and revisit and actually take the exam by, again, going to npmatraining.com and clicking Access Purchase Content or npmatraining.org. When it comes to taking the exam, it's very clear that that's what you're doing. It's going to pop up a little thing. Are you sure you want to take the exam? Start tests. Are you really sure? So someone really does have to acknowledge that they're starting the exam in order to launch in. The exam is time limited to 1 hour, and for those who have had some experience in the system, a couple of months ago, all of the exams consisted of multiple parts. Now all of those parts have been combined into one seamless experience that grades on average. Everything is detailed out at a number of different points throughout the process, both in the course home and when you're in course exam. You have 2 attempts to score 80% or higher on the exam. You have 1 hour for each attempt. Complete the exam without using reference materials. If you do not pass the exam after 2 attempts, contact QualityPro at pestworld.org to have your exam reset. So this is something that at this point we're doing manually, so we need to know if your person fails twice and gets locked out so we can do the reset. We are working on making that an automated process, but it's not there yet. I'm going to do a quick check on the questions bank. So Greg has a question. What do you need from us for a person who has already taken the test at a different company? First name, last name, and ideally, if you know what company they worked for is all we need to know, but really first name and last name, and we can usually look up their records. Connie has the question, is this process for a new employee, or is this for everyone who has to sign up and take a course? So the answer to that is, within the context of QualityPro, all of your sales and service employees need to pass the QualityPro exam if they've been for companies that were QualityPro before July of last year and had reciprocity in place. Anyone hired after January 1st to a sales and service role. Again, I promise to muddy the waters as much as possible. In short, all of your new hires for sales and service positions need to go through this process. They may already have an account if they've registered for an NPMA meeting before, if they've purchased something from NPMA before. You're now, by creating an account, you're creating them an account in the NPMA database. So they will have access to all things NPMA through your company's membership. The system is very sensitive to email addresses being unique. So if they try and create an account and they already have an account in our system, it's going to flag that and give them instructions on what to do, which is what we didn't demo that there, but it pops right up with the number to call and or reminds them, hey, you already, it looks like you already have an account in our system. Have you just forgotten your password? So all of those things are in place. In a moment, I'm going to demo some options available to folks who have a lot of employees they want to get going or are routinely hiring. If you are adding under, I would say, 10 people, I think it is just as efficient, and most companies, what they'll do, a training supervisor or HR manager, when they have a new hire, will go through the process that Griffin just demonstrated through that incognito window for each employee. So you would go in there and put on your Jane Doe hat or whatever the employee name is and go through that process for each person. And then when they have their first day and it's time for them to take the QualityPro exam, you just have them go to npmatraining.org, click on Access Purchase Content, and log in with the email address and the password that you set up for them. Hopefully that answered all angles of your question. Some things to note about this page in addition is Griffin mentioned that page where it says license and certifications, that you could finish or skip that page. That's relevant information if you're using the NPMA and QualityPro Online Learning Center to earn CEUs. So most of these structural test management courses and the OSHA, I think some of those courses are eligible for online CEUs. And you can click here to learn what credits you can earn in each state. So if you're from Alaska and you have someone take the Filth Flies course, they're eligible for 1 hour towards structural. If you're going to get CEUs through this system, then you do want to have people add that license, permit, certification information. But as Griffin said, for QualityPro, they can just finish and skip that step. Another handy thing to know about this page is this FAQ link. So within this, everything that we're talking about today is detailed out on this FAQ page. And so if you are sending instructions to someone, for example, that new hire who you've set up their account, how do I access courses and exams for which I already registered or you registered them for? This is what you're going to copy and paste and just tell them what email address you use to set up their account and what password you use to set up their account. And then they're good to go. So this is, if you've set up someone's account, that's all the instructions they need. What we just demonstrated is that part right here. The most important part of this, as Griffin emphasized, is linking with the correct company. So it's not a bad idea to go in there or just call us and have us do a check. If you suspect that your company has a lot of different records, you type in your company name and a bunch of records pop up and it looks like old addresses or duplicate addresses. We can clean that up and we would love to do that. So if you start signing people up and there's anything confusing about that process, you go ahead and give us a call and we're going to make this work for your company. The other thing that we can do is we can create a company record. Like, for example, if I had Allie's Pest Control, I could create a company record called Allie's Pest Control Training Site. And when you linked people with that, it would get them access to all the right things. So we have lots of different options for making that new user sign-up process seamless, and we're happy to make it efficient for you as you sign up new people. If you have hundreds of people that you need to get into the system and get going right away, we do have bulk upload options available. But again, if it's under 10 people, I've found it's just as efficient for you to go through the process and set them up and register them this way. Doing a quick check for questions. All right, great. Some other things that I want to demonstrate. Now, what we've talked about so far is taking a new employee, setting up an account for them, and registering for them for a course, and then having them take a course. Most of the folks who are on this call or listening to this are probably more at a supervisor or administrator level. So I want to let you know some options that are available for you to monitor the information and the course completion of your employees. So from the npmapestworld.org website, under Member Center, there's an option to update your profile. And here we're logged in as someone. We're logged in as Jane Doe still. I'm going to log Jane out and log in as myself. And seeing the names of folks who are in here, I think all of you probably have accounts already. So I encourage you to do this for yourself. So something that Jane did not have, that I do have, is this Manage My Group section. This is available to folks in the NPMA system who are marked as company administrators. There is not a limit to the number of people who can be marked as company administrators. We just need an email from someone who is a company administrator saying, yep, you can give this person that access. What this lets you do is edit your company address information, the service area zip codes that's relevant in the Find a Pros that NPMA maintains, and most importantly for this process, add and remove employees from your company directory. So this is your member center. Everybody has this available to them, but only company administrators have this Manage My Group. Again, I got to it from Member Center and then View, Edit Profile, or Update My Profile. If you ever end up here and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I want to get back to that place where I was, if you type in like npmatraining.org in the search bar there, it's going to remember your login and you'll be able to do that purchase process, or you can click on this Register for Online Training and QualityPro exams. These are kind of your cheat sheet things of the most frequent places where folks want to go in the NPMA system. So under Manage My Group, as I mentioned, you have the ability to edit your company. This person is linked up with a company that doesn't have a lot of information, which is why you see all of that, but you will be able to see more of this in your account. This is where you can update the service area zip codes, but most of you are going to go into this View Branch Listing. If you have a whole bunch of locations linked with your company, they're all going to show up here, and for each one, you can edit the address, view the service areas, and view the employees linked with that company. So you can see under the employees of the NPMA Training Test Company, got these folks. Oh, Rob Tazy no longer works here. We can remove him from the company. That way, they're not going to have access to the NPMA member benefits that your company has. They're not going to get NPMA member pricing on things, but they're still in our database, so if they pop up somewhere else in the future. If you want to use the system to add new people, you can click there. Just like with the registration form, first name, last name, and email address are the ones that are required. If your company uses employee IDs and that's something that you want as a unique identifier, you can tell us that and we can pull it into reports. So for example, if you have a ton of employees and you've got 3 John Smiths and the thing you use to tell the different John Smiths apart is their employee ID, fill that in so that we can pull that into the completion report. Doing a quick check on questions. Good. Okay. What this does is create a record for them, but it does not register them for the courses. So you'd still have to go to, or they would need to go to npmatraining.org, log in, because their login would be created, and then select purchase courses and go through that registration process, which is why I say it's almost just as easy to go through the whole process one after another, creating the account and then registering the courses versus adding them here and then going over and for each person registering. If you have bulk and you want to add a whole bunch of people, there is a template, and then you can upload it and they'll add them to the system. Anyone who's added through this page in this system, their default password is all lowercase NPMA. Again, that's all lowercase NPMA, and they'll be linked with whatever company you're associated with. Any questions there? Okay, great. So 2 more things I want to talk about on today's webinar is the different reports that we can generate out of this system and how folks who are set up as supervisors can access the certificates of completion of their employees. So to the first one, basically whatever information you want sent to you, we can get it sent to you on whatever routine basis you wish. Most companies, I would say, on a monthly basis, have me email an Excel document that has a whole bunch of rows in it that has the person's employee ID, first name, last name, email address, what course they registered for, whether or not they've completed the course, and if they have completed the course, what day they completed it. So we can have the system automatically email you, again, monthly, weekly, whatever frequency you want, that report. So you don't have to be logging in anywhere to see if Jane Doe has finished her QualityPro exam. We can send that report to you, and it is true as of the moment it's sent. If you would like that, you can just email us, QualityPro@pestworld.org, and the very good question just came in, will I be emailing all this information to you? And yes, the recording of this webinar will be emailed to you, and I'll also state in that the offer of here's some things to check, and if you need us to work with you individually to set this up for your company, we are more than happy to do that. To set it up all efficiently right off the bat will save everyone time in the long run, so happy to do that. The other thing I wanted to show is companies or employee certificates of completion. So one of the other things that we need to know is who at your company needs to access certificates of completion. We can have one account, either like a generic account that anyone can log into to see the certificates of completion, or we can set up one person to be kind of the training director, manager who can log in and verify. Again, that Excel report that you get emailed will have all the completion information, but if you need a physical copy of the certificate and the individual has forgotten their login or they're out in the field and they can't log in and get their own certificates of completion, we can set it up so that you as a manager can access it. I want to demonstrate that. Thank you, Griffin.
My system makes sense to me. Who knows if it makes sense to other people?
I don't know if that's his email address. Let me see. Poor Randy. Okay. So thank you, Randy, if you ever watch this, for letting us impersonate you. So I am now logged in as Randy. He has been set up as the supervisor for his company, which means once a month I go in the back end of the learning management system and I link all his employees up with him so he can view their certificates of completion. So I'm logged in as Randy. I'm going to go to npmatraining.org. I'm going to access purchase content, which is going to log Randy into that learning management system. Here he is. These are the courses that he's registered for. But if we go home, reports, there's an area called Employee Certificates of Completion. This area is available to Randy because he's been designated as that supervisor. Again, we don't know who to make the supervisor unless you let us know, so that's something that in the follow-up to this webinar we'll be asking about. So I'm going to change this to, let's go back many, many months. Submit. And what's going to pop up is the records of the employees who have been linked and anyone who has completed a course. So here's Mark. We can click there. There's Mark's certificate of completion that Randy is now able to print off and either put in Mark's training file or put in the service logs of the accounts that are requesting it. One thing to note on this is if you right-click and save the image, it's literally just going to save the image. It's not going to fill in Mark's information and when he completed it. The way to save this is to print to PDF. So you're going to go to print, and rather than sending it to a printer, you can send it to a printer, obviously, but you're going to change it to save as PDF, and then it's just going to save as a PDF file on your computer. So I think with that, we have gone over how to start a new account, how to register someone for either the QualityPro exams or an NPMA course, how to earn CEUs through the NPMA testing sites, how to access things that you've registered for in the past or an employee has registered for in the past, how to get reports automatically sent to you that tell you your employee's progress through the courses they've registered for, and how to access employees' certificates of completion. Covered a lot of ground in exactly 30 minutes here, but I'm looking now to the question panel. Does anyone have any questions or anything you want me to cover again that wasn't clear? All right. Fantastic. So once again, thank you so much for your time today. We will be following up with all of you via email, and I look forward to working with each of your companies to set up the QualityPro and NPMA testing and training system so that it works efficiently to meet the training and testing goals that your company has in place. With that, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.